You're watching Pitch Up with the Pates. Welcome back to the channel. I'm currently in a Swift Basecamp 6. It's a 2022 model. The short on this that I put on YouTube recently has done pretty well. It had about 12,000 views and got quite a lot of interest. So I thought I'd do a very quick video just to show you around this caravan. It was launched in 2021, so autumn 21 for the 22 season and discontinued for the 23 season. So it was only produced for a very short period of time. It was quite a niche production caravan. It's basically the Basecamp shape with a 6-berth capacity, which never really seemed to take off. Hence it was discontinued quite quickly. I'll show you around. I'll talk about the differences in this to the Basecamp 2, which is now available in the 2026 season. The Basecamp 3 and the Basecamp 4 have now been discontinued totally. And again, this was discontinued now a couple of years ago. It could be a little gem on the used market because there's not a lot around. They weren't sold in high numbers, and that means from a used perspective, they could be relatively well sought after. The price of this particular caravan is £17,500, and that's of November 2025. So prices may change depending on when you're viewing this. But this caravan would have been in the mid to late 20,000s when it was new. So it could be considered for only a 3-year-old caravan, a bargain. So depending on what you're looking for, it may be the right caravan for you. I'm not selling this caravan. I don't work in the industry, but if you are interested, it may be useful just to have a look around and look at some of the features and differences to the other Swift Basecamp range. So straight away you'll see with this particular Basecamp caravan, the big difference here being the fact that you've got 2 dinette areas, seating areas in the back of the caravan. These make up into bunks, so you've essentially got double bunks for 4 people. So the benefit to this may be that even if you're not a family of 6, you may be a family of 3 or 4, you can always have at least one of these side dinettes set for eating or seating. It can be used for playing games, used for entertainment, while the other side, if you wanted, you could keep as the bunk. So if you needed it as a 6th berth, you're going to have to make it up in an evening. If you didn't, again, you've got lots of options with this. So that's one of the huge selling points to the Basecamp 6, and why I was surprised it never did really that well, because it just gives lots and lots of options. It probably got a little bit too big for its boots, possibly moved away from the original concept of the Basecamp 2, small, lightweight caravan, easy to tow, easy to get away in, and maybe this started to move up, particularly with the price, into the Challenger money. So it possibly then was not the obvious option if you were looking at a family caravan, and that's perhaps why it didn't do so well. But it has got these baskets at the top, storage baskets, as in the other Basecamps. These are really useful if you're wanting to get packed up in your house. If it was on a storage site, for example, you could take all of these out, put them in your car, take them home, fill them up and bring them in sort of fully laden. So it just saves you keeping things at the storage compound. If you're at home, again, it's still useful to take them in from the driveway and fill them up and put them in. So I do like that feature. Some people might prefer cabinet doors, so locker doors that look a little neater, but for me, I quite like this. It's part of the quirk of the Basecamp series. If we move to the back of this particular caravan, you'll see that this has got the basic Swift control system, so power, lights, you've got water, you've got the battery there, shows you the voltage, and it also shows the voltage of the car if the car was connected as well. This is the more basic panel that Swift brought in around this time for the 2022 season. They moved away from the command, so it did have prior a digital command system, which I really like. It's now been replaced with a newer command type panel. However, this basic panel for me was a downgrade. Some people prefer it because it's really easy to use. There's sort of no frills, less to go wrong, but it's just a shame that they decided for that particular year of manufacture to take out that command system and put these in throughout quite a number of the Caravan ranges, to be honest with you, for that particular year of manufacture. But you'll see as you're looking around, it's got all the orange sort of accent colours as you look around the Caravan, as you'd expect to see with a Swift Basecamp. They've now moved on to blue in the more recent manufacture years. These have always been relatively nice, durable surfaces in the upholstery that's been used, so they should be very family friendly. And you should find actually that over time, and this Caravan now is 3 years old and it does still look in fairly new condition. I'd say looking around this Caravan, it's probably still in a 9 out of 10 condition, and I can only imagine that a family would have used this due to obviously the births of this particular Caravan. You've got there we go, a curtain that goes across. It's quite nice. It's not good, obviously, block out any noise of any sort, which could be a problem if you've got young children sleeping. Maybe, you know, it would have been nice to have a pull-out door from each side, perhaps. I don't know how they'd have incorporated that in, or the concertina style, but I do prefer that actually to what we had in our Swift Alpine 4. That was like a concertina style pull-across screen. I do prefer the curtain, although again, you've got to think about the noise that you might have through there. Kitchen area then, as with all of the base camps, it's 3 gas burner hob on the top, and then you've got the Thetford duplex below, so it is quite compact. You're not going to be putting any sort of large pizzas in there, but it's probably enough if you're only going to be using this during the summer. In winter you might be struggling a little more if you're wanting to do more cooking, because you've not got a microwave in these. So again, that could be a problem for all year round use. This Caravan has got blown air heating, not the Alder type heating either, so again, that's something to consider for all year round usage. You have got a solar panel, which would be useful if you were on a storage site, just to keep the battery topped up. It isn't always enough to keep the battery topped up. Sometimes you're better off removing the battery, but it's still an option that you have. Lots of storage above there in those lockers. You've got somewhere for organising your cups, but you've not got a plate rack for whatever reason. You tend to find they usually have those. You've got sink, just a standard style tap, and then just below the kitchen area there, you've got a Dometic fridge freezer. It's a reasonable size. I can't see you having any problems with that. It will be big enough for most people in use. I know there's a lot of tall type fridge freezers now that you tend to see, but we've had a fridge freezer in one of our Caravans that size and we had no issues. Lots of power. You've got aerial there for putting your TV on the side, power 240 volt and 12 volt. And just below here, sort of a little storage cubby hole as well, just for putting your gadgets, etc. So yeah, plenty of sort of storage around this area. If we just come across here into the kitchen to look at the cutlery drawer, so you've got a dedicated cutlery drawer in there. You've got some cupboards and drawers that pull out just to the side of the fridge freezer, and then you've got a drawer and then a larger drawer just below that Thetford duplex oven. Got the lights on in here today. It is quite dark. It's sort of about 4 o'clock in the afternoon now, so it's in the UK, so it is starting to get dark around this time, and it is fairly well lit. There seems to be areas such as here that seem like it could have done with some additional lighting, but all in all it is relatively well lit for this time of year. Yeah, there's just that sort of dark patch there which I'm a little disappointed in. You've got your whale system there for your hot water and heating. It isn't Truma in this Basecamp model. And then if we just spin back around, you'll see there's 2 roof lights, one in the back, one above the kitchen area, and then just in this front you've got the huge window, there we go, to the front, which opens, and the side windows also. One of the features with the Basecamp are the tethering points, which are just below these 2 front seats. These fold up and you can tether your bikes down, etc. when you're traveling, or you can make this up in, obviously in the evening, into a double bed if you wanted to, and not use the singles in the back. Depends how you're going to use this particular Caravan. You've got a fold out occasional front table, just folds up there, which isn't huge, but it's just enough probably to perch a plate on there. And then if we just come back round here, moving through into the washroom. So it's a shower washroom area. So it's like an all-in-one. You've got toilet, you've got cupboard above, roof light, shower, and your wash basin just there. I just noticed you've got your blown air central heating vent, so at least your washroom will be heated, because back in the day when we had an Alpine 4, the washroom wasn't heated, used to be quite chilly in winter time. So the Basecamp 6, as you can see, is a relatively large Basecamp edition, and as I've said prior, it wasn't the most popular model, hence it was discontinued. However, for a family of 3, 4, 5, you know, it presents a good value option at this sort of price point. It's quirky, it's not going to be as obvious as some of the choices available, such as the Sprite in the Swift range. It'll stand out on a campsite. It is slightly larger than the other Basecamps, and again, it probably veered slightly too far away from the original concept, but it's still under 1400 kg. It's an option if you are looking for a family caravan that's quirky, stand out, can take up to 6 berth, and this particular caravan seems to have stood the test of time and is in really good condition. So clearly the materials used in this caravan are of reasonable quality, because if this was a 2025 model, 2026 model on the forecourt, I don't think it'd look an awful lot different. It still has that new caravan smell, which is good. So there we have it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. The Basecamp 6. Are you a fan of this caravan? What's your thoughts on the Basecamp range? Can you see why the Basecamp 6 was discontinued? Should it have been discontinued at all? Please let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, helps me grow the channel, and helps me continue creating this content. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.